This lesson is going to be set up in two parts for Tuesday. The first part will just be reading through lesson 76, and then the second part will be doing the odd number problems between problems 1 through 15. So this is part 1 for the lesson on Tuesday. Like we usually do in class, make sure you have your math book in front of you. We're on page 368, lesson 76. So make sure you follow along as I read. Sometimes I'll point out things in the book, some of the stuff I've put on the board, but again, follow along in your books as I read. Also, make sure you've done your speed drills, make sure you got that over with, and let's jump right in. All right, page 368, lesson 76. Often, fractional part statements contain more information than is directly stated. Consider this fractional part statement. And there you have in italics, 3/4 of the 28 students in class are boys. This sentence directly states information about the number of boys in the class. It also indirectly states information about the number of girls in the class. In this lesson, we will practice finding several pieces of information from fractional part statements. And so let's move on to example. 3/4 of the 28 students in the class are boys. Now we need to make a sketch that illustrates this statement and then answer the following questions. So just from this sentence, we need to answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sets of questions. So number 1, into how many parts is the class divided? It's letter A. Letter B, how many students are in each part? Letter C, how many parts are boys? Letter D, how many boys are in the class? Letter E, how many parts are girls? And how many girls are in the class? That's letter F. So here we have the solution written out first. We sketch a rectangle to represent the whole class, and that's this rectangle right here. And you can also see it written down for you in your books. Since the problem describes 3/4 of the class, we divide the rectangle into 4 parts. Dividing the total number of students by 4, we find that there are 7 students in each of the fourths. Okay, so you have this written in your book, so I'm gonna go ahead and add this information here. So if you were to divide the 28 students, the total, okay, into 4 parts, it would divide into 7 into 7 students for each part. So basically all we did is we took 28 and divided it by 4, and we see that it's 7. So there's 7 students in each part. Dividing the total number of students by 4, we find that there are 7 students in each fourth. We identify the 3 of the 4 parts as boys. Now we will find the answers to the questions. Okay, so here they told us that 3/4 of the parts are boys. So we'll go ahead and add this information. You see how we outlined 3 of the parts out of the fourths. That's our information right there. The denominator of the fraction indicates that the class is divided into 4 parts. That represents our whole. For the purpose of this statement, it is important to distinguish between the number of parts, as indicated by the denominator, and the number of categories. There are 2 categories of students implied by the statement, boys and girls. Okay, so now this represents our parts, and then we have different categories, and our categories are only 2, boys and girls, like we just read. In each of the 4 parts, there are 7 students. We've outlined that. So we answered letter B. And so letter C, 3 parts are boys. So we've answered that question. Since 3 parts are boys, and since there are 7 students in each part, we find that there are 21 boys in the class. So all they did is they added these 2 parts. 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21, or 3 times 7. And then we see 3 of the 4 parts are boys, so only 1 part is girls. This portion of the class are girls. So there are 7 students in each part, so there are 7 girls. We've done problems like this before in the past where we break down the problem and we answer those, we answered this question basically, but now we're answering more questions in the way we set up our problem, okay? So let's go on to our next one. This is a practice one. We're gonna make a sketch to illustrate the following statement and then answer the question. So we have to answer questions based on this, part. 3/8 of the 40 little engines could climb the hill. And so there's gonna be 6 different questions that we need to answer. So number one, into how many parts was the group divided? And so you see that right off the bat where it says 3/8. Okay, so our whole is going to be divided by 8. So what we did is we have to divide 40 into 8 equal parts. Okay, so that's what I did here. So this whole rectangle here represents our 40 engines. And so I took 40 and divided it into 8 parts, and we see that each part can receive 5. Okay? So into each of the 8 parts, 5 engines go into it equally. So please don't judge my boxes. I know they're not all even, but we'll have to make do with what we got. So this, you should have this sketched out on a separate sheet of paper. So to answer our first question, into how many parts was the group divided? The answer to that one is it was divided into 8 parts. And then into how many engines are in each part? We've answered that question as well. There are 5 engines in each part. Letter C, how many parts could climb the hill? Okay, so we're given the information right here, 3/8. So 3 of them could climb the hill. 3 parts, okay? 3 parts could climb the hill. And then how many engines could climb it? So we see how many engines there are in each part. So 5, 10, 15. So that answers the question in letter D. And how many parts could not climb the engine? So now we take this here, and we see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts could not climb the engine. And just like we did yesterday, whoever comments the correct answer to letter F, I'll write your name down. I'll get your name from the comments. I'll figure out who you are, and you will get a prize whenever we're back here at school, which I don't know when it's going to be, so stay posted. We'll keep you posted on that. Look forward to seeing you guys soon. I'm going to start the next lesson. I'm going to stop this video, and then we can go on to the next lesson where we solve the problems. Thank you.